All right, we're back in the winner's circle, back in the winner's column. However you want to put it is fine. But the important thing is the Seahawks went out there today against the Arizona Cardinals and they took care of business. That's certainly something you can say about them. Beyond that, it kind of depends on who you're talking about. So, yeah, 27-10 Seahawks. The game was pretty much over at halftime. It really felt like that was, Arizona was not overcoming a three-score deficit. The second half was honestly boring. And basically, at the end of the day, I'm happy. I'm satisfied. Of course, you're always going to be happy with a three-score win on the road, no matter what. But I have some questions. I have some concerns, and I'm looking forward towards these better teams we're going to be playing over the next several months. We're going to be playing much better teams than the Arizona Cardinals. We're going to be against teams that can make us pay for our mistakes more than Arizona did today because, especially in that second half, there were windows for Arizona to at least get into this game, and they just couldn't take them until it was too late. So, talking about this game is going to be kind of hard. Feels like for every praise I can give, there's going to be a criticism somewhere nestled in there. So, let's just get started with the stars of the show today, the defense. The defense, they gave up yards, I understand. They even gave up yards on the ground, which surprised me. Chase Edmonds and David Johnson both had some success on the ground. Of course, Kyler Murray had a couple nice scrambles in there, but um, I would say I was a little surprised that they ran the ball as much as they did on us, especially when they fell behind so early. But you would have to say at the end of the game that we had them at 3 points until they scored what was a semi-garbage time touchdown in the fourth quarter. So you will certainly take that. Cannot complain about giving up 10 points over a 60-minute football game. We forced them to kick field goals. We got them off the field on third downs. And for a defense, by the way, I want to really talk about this because over the last 6 to 7 years, Seahawks fans have become accustomed to a defense that makes plays. And this defense is getting it done despite not making plays for the most part. We have a secondary full of players who are fine, but they're just not they're not playmakers. Our linebackers and even some of our defensive linemen have better ball skills than our defensive backs, which is crazy to me. So I'm looking at those guys in the secondary wondering when, if ever, they're going to become ball hawks because they're doing a lot of other things right. I can't complain too much about their performance outside of that, but when are they going to start making plays on the ball? So that's kind of a big praise with a small criticism nestled in. If we are this good without making any plays on defense, how nice would it be if we started forcing a few turnovers in every game? If we started actually getting interceptions when our defensive backs make great plays? If we started getting, more on our sacks, we get fumbles, just stuff like that. How good could this defense really be? But yeah, despite that, they overcame that. And other than Murray hitting David Johnson out of the backfield for some nice plays, some nice screen passes, pretty clean, pretty tough to complain about anything you would see out there. We got decent pressure on Kyler Murray. I will say that the excuses are starting to run out for those guys because Clowney's been in here for a month now. Is going to be playing his third game next week. We need to start seeing those guys amp it up because so far they've been good given the situation that they're in. We need them to start being great because Clowney's been, like I said, Clowney's had a month to warm up. Has had a couple weeks to warm up. And obviously, we're not going to know the full extent of how good we can be until we get Jaron Reed back. But I do want to see even more quarterback pressure going forward. Today was good. I cannot say it was great. Murray escaped a few sacks. So I want to say that, if we were playing a more traditional quarterback, maybe we end up with 6 or 7 sacks instead of the 4. But I want to see more from those guys. And other than that, I mean, Bobby Wagner played a great game. Anza got a sack on the last play of the game, which was cool, and I saw him make an impact on a couple other plays. Clowney, obviously, with the play of the game, really just put Arizona behind the 8 ball from the very start. He created one of Michael Kendricks' sacks with his pressure. He's just a disruptor, man. And even when he doesn't make the play himself, he is consistently creating a play for somebody else. And Tedrick, I got to give Tedrick some ups here. I was very hard on him this season. Multiple times, I was very critical of Tedrick Thompson. He played most of this game today. He played fine, and he picked up a penalty that, you know, I just look at that play and I go, what is he supposed to do? So I'm not mad at him for that. So I want to give a shout out to Tedrick. Shaquille, I thought played a great game. He had two excellent pass breakups, and he got screwed out of one because of a shit holding call on Trey Flowers, where I don't even know what to say about that, but that was a great play by him, and he got screwed out of it. Just biggest complaint on this defense, other than they're not playmakers, is Kendricks misses way too many tackles. Kendricks had a good game today, by the way. He had 2 sacks. I thought he was a playmaker in the sense that he was disrupting passing plays with his rush, but you got to make routine tackles, or well, let me step back. He's making the routine tackles. He's not making any tackles that are like, oh, you had to tackle Alvin Kamara. That's hard. Oh, he just misses the tackle. Or he has to tackle Kyler Murray, and he doesn't do it. I understand those are hard tackles to make, but he's got to clean that up. He's missed a lot of tackles this year, in my estimation. Now, offense, I got to get into it. Kind of a tale of two halves. I mean, we came out in this game on fire. I love that first half. First half, we came out with Wilson throwing the ball, Carson running it, a lot of quick passes to receivers and tight ends, a lot of plays where you just drop back. You get Wilson to get rid of the ball quickly, but you're pushing the ball down the field. That first drive, we immediately saw an interest in passing to set up the run. We scored a touchdown on our next offensive drive to make it 17-3. We were using Disley heavily because Arizona has shown they don't know how to guard tight ends at all right now. We took a couple of nice shots to Lockett, including one to set up a Disley touchdown. Jaron Brown got involved in this game, which was great because he's been on a milk carton lately. We used Chris Carson as a receiver out of the backfield a lot today, which, I feel like a running back can add more value as a receiver than a runner a lot of the time. So I love that. So we even took a couple shots with in the end zone with DK Metcalf, which I like. It did not work out today. DK had a very quiet game. He missed the opportunity to make a couple plays that I would expect him to make typically, but he's a rookie. That's going to happen. So that first half, I liked everything that I saw. Even the last second drive where we kicked the field goal and we had the opportunity to put up 7, and there was a handoff up the gut to CJ Procise on 1st and goal that I hate that play with CJ. That's not CJ's wheelhouse. Even with that, I thought the offense in the first half was pretty much exactly the kind of offense that I want this team to run right now with their personnel. The offensive line looked good. We were able to get Carson his yards later in that half after we had already set them up with the pass. We loosened them up with a couple big shots to Lockett, with a couple of shots over the middle to Disley, and then we hit him with the Carson hammer. That's what I like. And then in that second half, where we did have a big lead, I understand, but we had several chances, like 3 chances in that third quarter to end that game for good. We drive down the field on any of our third quarter drives. We're feeling a whole hell of a lot better about the rest of the game. There's no drama. There's nothing to be concerned about. And we kind of reverted back to the kind of stuff that I don't like. We saw, look, I understand that Carson had a great game today and everybody's going to be praising him and talking about how, we do need to run the ball more. But, for me, it's hard to move the ball down the field all the way just running the ball, especially because of like these holding penalties. And I kind of feel like that was one of the things holding us back in that third quarter. We would have a good start to the drive. We would pick up a first down, and then we would pick up a penalty on a screen pass or a run. I think we had 1st and 20 twice in the third quarter. And when this team gets into 1st and 20, it's very hard for them to overcome it. So that was a troubling sign to me. That third quarter, when we just wanted to kind of protect the lead, get one more score up there to really put the game away. I saw us kind of doing the stuff that I don't really like. We were running the ball too much. Arizona would load the box. We would still run the ball into the 8-man box. And I think that whole second quarter, or excuse me, second half, we did not take a shot down the field one time. And maybe you would say the pass to Luke Wilson on the final drive was a shot, but that's as close as you got. Other than that, the passes tended to be little cheap dump offs and check downs and little quick passes, which is fine. But I was wondering, like, this team has Tyler Lockett and DK Metcalf on it. You got to take a shot deep with those guys at some point, if for no other reason than to loosen up the defense. And it felt like we got complacent in that second half. It just did. And punt, punt, punt. Arizona scored that late touchdown that gave them a little bit of life. But I will say this, that fourth quarter touchdown drive was some real shit. We picked up third downs through the air. We grinded the clock out with the ground. That's the kind of stuff where I like to see the running game. That's the situations where I feel like, okay, it might actually start making sense to start using the running game. It short yardage, end of game situations. I feel like running the ball should be situational, and that's a situation where I kind of like it. And that drive was some real shit, 8 minutes off the clock. And I love that. But we could have put that game away much earlier than we did. And I don't really know who to pin that on. I didn't like the play calling. I will say that Arizona started to bring pressure. I think the offensive line didn't do a great job adjusting to it. And I think Wilson wasn't getting the ball out against the blitz very much. Like, there were several plays where Arizona was obviously bringing 6 or 7 on a blitz. And Wilson needs to get the ball out of his hands immediately in that spot, but he didn't. And also, I don't know if the receivers are getting open down the field. It could be a lot of things. I don't know who to put it on in terms of one particular person, but I would have liked to have seen us just drop 35 on this Cardinals team today. And that third quarter, it makes me a little concerned, because today we were playing an offense that to me looked like they didn't really have a great plan. They were running like draw plays on 2nd and 18. They were dumping it off on 3rd and long. And I'm like, this is supposed to be an air raid offense. You're supposed to take shots. You're supposed to always be trying to rip the ball down the field. And they didn't do that today. So they could not come back on us. But other teams we play, they can come back on us. Better game from Dixon as well. That was good. He had one bad punt, but the other punts were good. I don't really know what else to say other than I'm happy, and it's a good win. I want to see this team build on the performance that we had in the first half on offense. That's number one. And number two, if some of these defensive backs could show me that they can make a play on the ball that results in a turnover, I'd be really happy. All right, I'm going to go watch this Sunday night game. See you guys. I'm probably not going to stream tonight. I got stuff to do, so I will be making a video on Tuesday. Oh, and I will be collaborating with another Seahawk video maker on Tuesday as well to make a pregame video, so keep an eye out for that. See you guys then. Go Hawks. Big win today, and you just have to build on it.